thought I would share with you some thoughts about what's happening with the coronavirus and the measures that we're all experiencing and the change in our lifestyle, and what possible lessons we may have in this experience. Now, the first lesson I perceive is the lesson of transcendence of needs, of the transcendence of any external factors in order that we are dependent on in order to be feeling safe, happy, fulfilled, or to love. So what we need to do here is to be able to feel safe, to feel secure, to feel fulfilled, to feel happy and loving, even when we cannot satisfy some of the needs that we are used to satisfying in order to be balanced. That may be certain contact with people, it may be talking, it may be buying stuff, it could be various pleasures or recreation, or it could even be our work or creative activity. All of these are part of our balance in life, which we are dependent on to be happy and fulfilled. So we are externally dependent on factors outside of ourselves in order to feel happy and satisfied and fulfilled. We're being asked now to feel happy and satisfied and fulfilled without being able to satisfy those external factors. So the transcendence of needs, the transcendence of desires, the transcendence of habits, and being able to be happy and fulfilled with whatever we're able to do in our daily life. A second lesson is the lesson of true freedom. Many believe that freedom is the freedom to be able to do whatever you want or say whatever you want whenever you feel the need. Actually, real freedom is the freedom to be happy, peaceful, and loving, whatever the circumstances. These are our basic inner nature. Happiness, peace, and love are our true spiritual nature. When we can't feel those, it's because we're dependent on something outside of ourselves in order to feel that way. So real freedom is the freedom from any kind of need or attachment which prevents us, when it's not being satisfied, to feeling happy, to feeling peaceful, and to feeling loving. A third possible lesson during this period, especially for anyone who is being limited to being in the home with the family, is to overcome any kind of negative reactions that we have within us towards how others function or behave, especially our family members. Not being with the family continuously may have been a way in the past for dealing with the fact that our mind is somehow bothered by some of the ways in which some of our family members may function. That could be our spouse, parents, children, brothers and sisters. Okay? So we're being asked here to overcome those inner reactions and understand why those behaviors may bother us, and to learn to love unconditionally by letting go of any fears or attachments which are causing us to feel negatively when our loved ones are behaving in ways which trigger those unpleasant emotions. So we must distinguish between what others are doing and the emotions that we are creating with what others are doing. No one is ever the cause of our feelings, ever. So we are always the cause of our feelings. The others are the stimulus, the trigger. What we do in our mind, in our emotions, with what others' behavior is our own creation. So we have the great possibility here of self-knowledge, of understanding the beliefs and perhaps the childhood experiences which may be causing us to interpret certain behaviors in certain ways and to create within ourselves unpleasant emotions. So we have here the wonderful opportunity of taking total responsibility for our reality and for all the emotions that we create in the way that we interpret situations. A fourth lesson here is the lesson of fearlessness, of letting go of every fear. Our main fears at this time will be suffering, not becoming ill, or dying, leaving our bodies, or losing our loved ones in such a situation. Some people, of course, may fear losing their freedom, but we've already discussed that. Real freedom is the freedom to be happy in every situation. That's freedom. So this fear, first of all, it's important to understand that statistically, 98% of the people who contract the illness will recover fine, and they'll be okay. So it's just another flu. So there's no reason to fear that. Now, the fear of death, or the fear of leaving the body, it's important to understand that actually there is no death. There is only our leaving these temporary bodies. And they're temporary. We are not temporary. We are immortal. And we are occupying these temporary bodies for a certain period of time. And my personal belief, after 50 years of spiritual search, is that no soul ever leaves the body by chance, or by accident, or unjustly. I believe that always the soul chooses to leave the body in the way that it leaves, even if that is by being shot, or being bombed, or being killed in a car crash, or by a virus. I don't believe anymore in chance. I believe that we need to do everything that is in our power to create the best possible reality and to protect ourselves in every way from this unpleasant situation, including leaving the body, unpleasant for the body and the mind, not unpleasant for us as souls. So we are obliged to do that, to protect ourselves and take all the correct measures to protect ourselves and our loved ones and all of society. But no one, in my perception anyway, and you don't have to agree with me, no one ever leaves a body, no soul ever leaves a body without it being a soul choice. So for some reason, the souls that are leaving and will leave are souls that have no more lessons to learn or nothing more to offer in this dimension, or their leaving is more effective for the group growth, for the evolutionary process for everyone, rather than staying, such as in the example of Christ, or even Gandhi, or even Martin Luther King, in the way that they, by dying early, gave us icons, messages that allows us to believe in certain realities and spiritual truths. So some souls may be leaving because they have nothing more to learn or nothing more to offer or to create, and other souls may be leaving because their departure serves the whole good more than their staying. I don't believe that anyone is leaving by chance. So we are obliged to protect ourselves in all of the measures that we have learned from the experts, but there is no reason to fear. There is no actual death. There is just our freedom from this temporary body, and all of the reports and all of the truths taught by the great mystics and spiritual teachers is that existence outside of the body is much freer and much more beautiful than existence in the physical body. That's not a reason not to protect the body. It's not a reason to commit suicide. But it is the reason not to fear leaving the physical body. So in my perception, one basic solution in this case would be an increased feeling of a connection with the divine. Feeling that we are connected to the divine, we are loved, that love is unconditional, it's not with conditions as we may have learned in our religious upbringing. The divine love for each being is continuous. It's without any kind of conditions. It's always there. That we are loved. That we are in this sphere of love, are loved by the divine, and this sphere of safety, in which nothing can happen which is not for our highest benefit as souls in evolution. It may not always be what our body wants, or our mind or our ego wants, but feeling ourselves in that sphere of love, of blessings, that nothing will ever happen to us, and also believing the same about our families, our loved ones, that nothing will ever happen to them, which is not a part of this growth process. I think it's a basic way of going through. It's a basic lesson here that will allow us to go through this process fearlessly happy. And the prerequisite to that is living in the present. Any kind of emotions we have at this point are emotions about what might happen. And so we're losing the happiness of the present because of our fear of what may happen in the future, which most likely won't happen. And in those 98% is not going to happen. So our fears are preventing us from enjoying the present. Now, we have created a video, because we have much more material in Greek. If you understand Greek, go to our site, www.harmonikizuri.com, and see the Greek session, because we have over 1,500 videos and lessons and seminars and guidance. In English, we're quite back. We don't have that much material. But we do have the site in English, and there are books there, and there are over 100 articles there, and also about 50 videos there that you can benefit from. And we'll put the site underneath this video, the address. So you can go there, but one of the things we have put on the Greek site, and if we have time, we'll put it on English, ways you can spend time indoors, if you have to stay indoors, with your family, games to play, singing, playing music, creative activities, writing, drawing, writing the story of a life, writing stories and poems, and analyzing yourself, more meditation, exercise, breathing techniques, positive visualization. And this is something that we can all do at this time. I think positive visualization is very important here. Visualizing all the people that you're worried about with light in them, recognizing their divine consciousness within them, and that light is creating strength and guidance for them, strengthening their immune system and their ability to manage their lives. So rather than worrying about anyone, because there's no... So it's much more useful to, rather than worry about our loved ones, to visualize and recognize the power within them, the divine consciousness within them that has every ability to create health, strength, and guidance in their lives. So worrying about someone never really helps them. It just weakens them, actually. So rather than worry or fear, visualize your own selves in the light, your loved ones filled with light, okay? And also those people who are suffering, known and unknown. You can pray for them and recognize the light within them. And those who are serving those who have problems, they need strength at this time in our recognition and our love. We can even visualize all of the leaders and the decision makers filled with light and in contact with their higher self, so that they're free from any kind of selfishness and work only selflessly for the good of the whole. And I even send light and visualize light in those who have become anti-social and maybe harming other people by killing or stealing or in any way harming their brother souls. And I'm even these days sending light and visualizing the virus in light so that it may be healed and lose its tendency to harm. And we can also use the method called Ho'oponopono, in which we ask for the divine to remove from us anything that's within us which is creating the need for us to have this experience, such as fears, attachments, desires, illusions, that may create the need for us to have this experience as an opportunity to let go of those fears and desires and illusions or egotism. So there are many ways of dealing with this, and you can find many of those ways at our site. You will find videos there and books and articles and the initial parts of the self-knowledge seminar. If there's something you cannot find and you need, send us an email at ren@otenet.gr. We are in Greece at our retreat center. We're very lucky. We're here in nature and we can get out and walk and work in the garden, and I'm very grateful for our situation at this time. So if we can be of any use to you, send us an email. Be happy, live in the present, feel the divine love that's surrounding us all at all times. It's without any conditions. There's nothing we need to do to be in that sphere of love. We're always in it. Let's feel safe and loving and live in the present and be happy. May you always be well.